edition of Homemade, and today, yes, we are cooking greens. And these greens, we're going to cook mixed greens. So I have a mixture of turnip greens, mustard greens, and kale greens. I just have 2 small bunches of turnip greens, 2 small bunches of mustard greens, and I have 1 very small bunch of kale greens. Now, we are going to prepare these greens the same way that I do with my collard greens, except I am going to put sugar in this water, yes, but I'm not going to put as much. So I'm still going to put my tablespoon of celery salt, tablespoon of Cajun or Creole seasoning, my tablespoon of paprika, my tablespoon of bouillon, my tablespoon of garlic powder, onion powder. We're still going to put those tablespoons in there. It's just with our sugar. Now, I typically like to use between 1/4 and 1/3 cup of sugar. And I have it here and it's mixed in with the rest of my seasonings. I am going to still put in my whole chopped onion. And for these, I am using smoked turkey tails. I love smoked turkey tails in my greens. So I'm going to go ahead and prepare this, because what we're going to do, we are going to let this cook on the stove for about 45 minutes. And this is going to be just our turkey tails, our onions, and our stock. So we're going to let that cook covered for 45 minutes on medium to high heat. We're going to go ahead, wash our greens, prepare them, and then we're going to put them in. So I'm going to go ahead, get this stock ready to go on the stove, come back, show you how I wash the greens, and it is the same process. I will chop them up into small pieces, or should I say smaller pieces, but they won't be as thin as our collard greens. So we have this set. I'm going to go ahead, put it on the stove, cover it up, and let it start to cook. So we're at our sink and it is time for us to start washing our greens. Green wash mixture, and it's just baking soda and salt. So in here I have about a 1/2 cup, 3/4 cups of baking soda, and I also have my salt in here. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this and sprinkle it throughout my greens and wash them in the other side. So let's show you. And I do have my bowl right here. That's where I'm going to set all of my clean greens. And I just like to kind of spread them out. This helps remove the grit that can be present on your greens. You want to make sure you get it all throughout. And it actually cleans them really well. So now that I've got my greens all coated, I'm going to cut my water on, and I'm going to cut it on medium. And all I do is I just take the greens and I just kind of rub them together. Now, I did not cut the stems off of these because I like the stems on these greens. I just don't like them on my collard greens. And all you're going to do is just, like I said, just take them, rub your greens, and it's okay if you crumple them up. And you just kind of want to rub them until you feel that they're clean. And you'll be able to feel the difference, trust me. So I'm going to go ahead and finish washing these, and I will come back and we will put them into our pot. We washed our greens, and as you can see, we put them in this bowl. Now, I do like to cut my greens at least in half because I don't like really big leaves. So all I do is just take it and cut it maybe a few times. There's no specific place or a specific way that you have to cut them. It's just to cut the leaves down in size a little. And I'm going to cut the rest of these. We'll come back and put them into our pot after our turkey tails and our seasonings have been cooking for about 45 minutes. And we will let them continue to cook. Okay, so our greens have cooked on top of the stove. I did cook them on medium to high heat for about 50 minutes. They are done. As you can see, most of our water has boiled out of them. We don't want it all to boil out, but we do want to get most of our water out. So right now I cut my burner off and I'm going to go ahead and put in my tablespoon of vegetable shortening. And once I put that in, I'm going to let them sit and rest for about 5 or 10 minutes. And I will come back, taste them, and show you how good and tender they are. We are back. Our greens are done. They've rested. I let them rest for about 10 minutes just to give everything time to mesh together. So I do have a bowl of our mixed greens, and as you can see, they are still really hot. Now, I did let them cook for 50 minutes, and I let them cook on medium to high heat. Once they were done cooking on the medium to high heat, I did remove the lid and I adjusted my heat and I cut it down to medium and I let them cook for about 10 more minutes just to get enough of the water off of them because you don't want so much water in your greens. Once I put my vegetable shortening in, I stirred it up really good, remove them from the heat, and that's what they've been doing, resting since then. So I'm going to go ahead. Mm-hmm. You all, these greens are so good. So good. All the flavors, they mesh so well. Even though we put a little sugar in our stock, you cannot taste the sugar. It's not so overpowering because we have the other spices in there to mix with it. So when you try this recipe, make sure you drop your pictures and your comments in the comment section below because I want to see if you like the recipe, if it turned out right for you, whatever. Make sure you share those things with me. And I know I didn't say it earlier, but don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our channel if you want to keep seeing our easy homemade recipes. You all, cooking is as easy or as hard as you make it. And I promise you, if you keep it simple, be yourself, life in itself can be so much easier. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Homemade.